If managed correctly, your customer service data can be the secret to your success. By collecting, analysing and sharing your data, you can not only improve on operational costs such as agent forecasting, but also inform critical business decisions made by the wider company. In this episode of Building a Support Team for Tomorrow, we will look at how you can use your support data to drive success and company growth. CSAT, response times, effort scores, quality scores, volumes, handling times. The list goes on. Each metric helps explain a particular area of your support performance. But it's important not to fixate on a single metric. Instead, you can combine them to tell a wider story of how your team is doing.
You do need to see how satisfied your customers are, but is it always in the influence of the agent? I think in many cases that is not the case. So then if you have a combination which is with the internal quality or maybe on the average handling time or whatever is needed, which makes also sense for your type of business, then you're getting somewhere.
While tracking your support metrics is necessary to ensure your team is performing efficiently, they are certainly not the only data source that's rich in valuable information. Your support conversations are also packed with customer insights, sentiment, and details that when combined with your support metrics can tell comprehensive stories about how your brand and product are doing as a whole. If you're outsourcing support, it may be even more critical to have a data analyst on hand to ensure the credibility of the BPO's results. Supercell, who outsources their frontline support team, has dedicated data analysts on both sides. This way, they can easily make sense of the data on hand and share valuable insights with the wider company.
So when it comes to people who handle data, we have internally a fleet of analysts that work with the game data and they work with operational data. So they just make sure that we have the dashboard we need, that the data isn't broken. Then externally, we have also data analysts who grind through what's more related to the productivity, quality, operational metrics that sit at the partner. So we don't really share support data, what we share is stories. So game teams don't want to hear about CPH and FRT and things like this. What they want to know is what happens to a player when he doesn't get the purchase he just made. They want to understand how fishers behave, how people try and cheat. So this is the value that we bring.
So how do you best go about sharing data with the wider team? There are two main avenues to do this. The first is to set up real-time support dashboards. Live dashboards are the best way to visualize your data in real time. You can immediately detect any negative trends, whether it's regarding performance metrics such as response times, or customer metrics such as CSAT. This allows you to act faster and nip any potential issues in the bud. BPOs like WeWow and Hire Horatio have taken an individual approach to dashboards for each of their clients.
It's tailor-made for every single customer we work with. So based on their KPIs, based on their processes, based on the systems they work with, we build dashboarding or we build processes.
We've been able to deploy a full dashboard program to centralize all of the information and all of the work that we do. And it is a system that allows us to see that daily, weekly, bi-weekly, on a monthly level, to review and be able to craft a story around each client so that the information that they're seeing makes sense overall.
While dashboards are a great asset to the function of your support team, they do little to provide any meaningful insights to the wider company. Product managers and developers, for example, will gain little from knowing your team's average time to close or first response times. This is where the second avenue of data sharing comes to play, and that is regular reporting. You can bring your support data to life by compiling regular, targeted reports that use your metrics to tell the story. Direct reporting between your customer service department and all other teams you work closely with can not only help improve processes within your entire company, but also positively feed into the products or services you provide. Here are some examples of regular reports you could compile based on data from your support. The first is a product report. This is where you can analyze your DSAT tickets and identify causes for poor CSAT. Categorize any product-related causes by feature or area of product. Then combine this with customer sentiment per feature to paint a picture of how well your features and products are being received by your customers, and shed a light on areas of improvement for your product team. Secondly, a support engineering report can also pull together a lot of valuable insights, such as understanding which features are causing the most escalations, which can help drive changes to the product or focus training efforts around troubleshooting. It'll also offer a better understanding of the escalation process itself and reveal whether agents are taking all the necessary actions before handing the case over to their support engineers. Finally, a general customer service report is a great way to explain data to others in the company. For example, if you have noticed a downward trend in response times, perhaps a new feature was launched that week that drove volumes, or there was a bug that impacted a lot of users. Being able to explain your metrics with real stories helps to avoid data silos that are prevalent in many companies, and means you are making the most of the data you are collecting. These are just a few examples of possible reports. There are plenty of others you can set up to positively impact your business. The key is to keep them consistent with easily digestible takeaways for the reader. Remember, most people outside of your support department won't benefit much from seeing a bunch of support metrics or graphs. You need to explain more to offer real insights. Analyzing and sharing your support data can mark the difference between being a value driver or a cost center for your company. While your data may be a goldmine for your business, the tools you use to provide your service and collect your data are equally important. With the rise of AI, it can be hard to know how to implement this within your customer service tool stack while maintaining support quality and customer happiness. Join us in the final episode to find out.